Go make disciples. That was Jesus' charge to his followers right before he ascended back into heaven. And that continues to be his invitation to us as his people, that we would be with him in making disciples. And as simple as a phrase as go make disciples is, when it comes right down to it, that can be an overwhelming task and an idea. Where do I start? What does it look like? How do I walk that out in my current context? And so the purpose of this video and the next couple of videos is to simply clarify a couple of key principles and ways that we can walk this out wherever you're at. And so we're going to use 3 key words that we hope will kind of become just a part of the conversation and begin helping us define what does discipleship look like here at New City. And so those 3 words are care, coach, and cultivate. And I want to talk to you about the first word, care. And if I can boil it all down, it's really this. It's God's love in action focused on an individual. You guys have probably heard the phrase, people don't really care what you know until they know that you care. And that is so, so true. So when it comes to discipleship, we can sometimes get caught in the trap of just thinking it's about moving people to the next step. You know, they need to get water baptized. They need to start reading their Bible every day. They need to get connected to a small group. Let's get them involved on a ministry team. And all of those things are valid and they're relevant and they're probably things that are going to be a part of the journey that God has for that person as they get discipled. But even before all of that stuff begins to happen, we need to recognize these are actually people, and they're people that Jesus died for, and we get to care about them and care about the things that are going on in their lives. So before we get to our agenda, let's remember to care. Let's remember to peer into somebody's life and see, man, they've got this obstacle that they're facing. There's this health scenario that is causing difficulty. There's these financial burdens. There's this tragedy that just happened. When we stop what we're doing, when we actually begin to pay attention, we will realize that, man, people have stuff going on. And if we're not willing to care about those things, it's going to be really hard to do any of the other portions of discipleship. Think about the way that Jesus ministered. I mean, he had an incredible ministry, traveling across the countryside, preaching and teaching. Obviously, he was incredible at those things, but he was also never too busy to just stop and meet somebody's needs. I mean, he fed people food. Obviously, he healed a lot of people. And even when he was on ministry trips, he would get interrupted and he was willing to stop. He didn't get flustered and said, hey, I gotta get to my next appointment. But he was willing to stop and actually spend time with people, meet people's needs in the moment. And that's something that we can do. Think about it in your small group or on your ministry team. You kind of got an agenda, you know, you want to get through the curriculum, you want to build that team, you want to get some things done in that team meeting. And sometimes there's going to be ways that we just have to realize, okay, it's time to pause. Something's going on in somebody's life, or maybe there's a way that I can get away from the team dynamic and actually spend some time with this person, because I can tell that there's some pain happening here. There's some things that need to be supported, ways that we can encourage that person. And same thing in a mentorship environment, or in your family, or in your workplace. You're not always invited in to the discipleship process, but when you actually begin to care for people, when you begin to pay attention to the things that are happening, you'll be amazed at how often the discipleship process just begins to naturally happen. Because when we start to care for people, they actually begin to allow our voice into their lives. And so the first part, but not just a one and done, is care. So even after we begin to care at the beginning, we're going to have to continue to come back around to it. Even after we start to coach them and we begin to cultivate a vision in their life for the future, we're going to have to come back to this idea: are we willing to care for the people that God is caring for? So let me just say it again, guys. Discipleship starts with care, and it's simply this: it's God's love in action focused on an individual.